Welcome back to Big Gold Belt Media. It is I, Damian G, bringing to you, not broughting to you, because in past tense. Happy Mother's Day on the day this is recording. Bringing another review with myself and Terrell over on my
Hey,
right side, apparently. But yeah, we have a good interview today, a good review. Let's be honest here. Me and Terrell like certain types of shows and movies.
good.
Sometimes we like it, and then sometimes we need to discuss. And I already did a non-spoiler review of this movie, as you see up in the brackets here. Fist of the Condor, part one. Part one, folks. This is just the first part,
Yeah,
and
it caught me too.
yep. So we're gonna do a spoiler back and forth, and we'll let the audience decide whether or not this was a good film or not. So let's go to you, Terrell, first, because I gave my piece. What do you think of the movie?
I didn't know what to expect from this movie, and I didn't. I watched the trailer, but then I stopped myself like 10 seconds in. I said, "No, I'm just going to watch the movie." Um, I've watched a lot of stuff from Hi-Yah so far, and in a lot of stuff they've kind of dropped the ball for me. Not to say that it's all bad, but like I feel like if this is your sole purpose, like your sole dedication, this is the content that we're dropping, I'm expecting a little bit better quality. Now that's not to say anything about this movie. I thought the fights were great. I thought the fights in this movie were great. The story is just what's completely lacking here, like all the way. That like the story itself is just it's just like, all right, can we get to the next fight, please? Like, and Marco, who plays our main character, who plays the main character and his brother. He's amazing, man. He a lot of these scenes were like slow down scenes of him just like rapidly punching, but like I said, the overall the story of the movie was but like the fighting is really quite amazing in this for its hour and 20-minute run. You still there?
Wow, it was actually a really quick, kind of like a quick dose of a movie. I didn't think it lasted that long, but in reality, it was shorter than that. And you bring up the fight scenes themselves, and in my review, I did mention that they seemed a little too popcorny to me, but then in reality, it's a kung fu flick. It is a martial arts movie. What the hell did we expect? Right. Like we're so spoiled by Liam Neeson and Keanu Reeves, at 62 years old, acting like they're Ip Man, and it's like, okay, right. I'll give it to you. I do play Mortal Kombat. I'll give it to you. But but the story, my God, you are so correct, sir. The exposition, the flashbacks, the are we in real time versus the flashbacks, it was all over the place. Like that's what got me. I was so tuned into the fights, right. Especially the first fight, when you're like, the fuck is happening? Who are you? Who are you? Like, who's the bad right. guy here? Yeah, and then you get to the story and you're like, can we just stick to the fights? That's like the best part.
Right. Definitely the best part. Speaking of like the story, just if some of the references that I was thinking about as I was watching this, one, obviously Kill Bill, right? Like that.
Yes.
You kind of get that vibe, the way the story is structured with the chapters, that the whole revenge plot, XYZ, just not necessarily the same story, but just like how it's structured in the story. That's something that I was thinking about. Like I said, I was kind of confused at the beginning, like what was going on in the world exactly. I know the story is like everybody's kind of hunting down this one guy because they're trying to get the text, which is the Fist of the Condor, which is basically Hokuto Shinken from Fist of the North Star,
right?
And whoever learns this, except with Fist of the North Star, there can only be one person that knows this destructive.
Very Highlander-like, right? There can only be one.
Right. Mm-hmm. And that's another thing that I was thinking about, is they were like looking at this book and some of the stuff, as they go through the book and the movie, like some of the destructive moves, or the one hit moves that could just instantly kill people, stuff like that. That's one of the references I was thinking about. But I was confused. It's like, okay, so he's running away. He's either running away from his brother, or he's trying to find him? Because at times it felt like he was trying to get away, and then like, okay, is he trying to find his brother and stuff? I was very confused as to what it was, because he's trying to get revenge for his master that was killed.
Right. And that was the thing about the story itself. Like, we knew after a while this was a "you killed my master, prepared to die,"
Right.
you know, the trope, but you didn't really realize why there was hatred between two brothers. You know, you want to get to that family dynamic, the Cain and Abel of it all, but you don't know until 30 minutes into the movie. And I wrote it down, and spoilers, kids, one brother pissed on the brother's face. Okay? That had me screaming out in my apartment saying, what the fuck? And you know what? To be honest, I would want to kill my brother too if he did that shit to me. If he killed my master over there and then said, you know what? I'm gonna beat your ass and piss on your face. Yeah, I would want to kill Bill too, to be quite honest. So,
right.
You know, that's the scene that woke me back up, and then it bored me again. You know, it went. Do you remember in Kill Bill, because you brought it up, when they show Beatrix training with Pai Mei, and they go back and forth with her learning his, like, the palm strike techniques?
Yeah.
And it's very campy. I got the sense that this was supposed to be philosophical with Old Buzzard or Old Vulture, whatever her name was. Like, it was very philosophical. And there was a line he mentions in the movie where he goes, are you training me or are you training him? Because one brother got accepted as an apprentice and the other one didn't. It's very
he's just like lingering around the woods like a
right.
Yeah.
It's very Gokin and Goki from Street Fighter, you know. So that's what I got from it. And it's like, who are you really training? Me, who's training with you and learning the right way, or my brother over here who may be uncivilized, but he's the better of us from a talent perspective?
Right.
And she doesn't really answer that question. She just spoke in another riddle. So it's one of those things where she knew that one of them dudes was going to kill her, probably the brother, and said, you know what? Let me train his brother to protect the scroll, as I call it, the scroll. But yeah, it tried to be a little too philosophical for my liking in parts where it didn't need to be. You had a simple premise. Get this scroll from my brother or protect it from my brother who has malintentions. Simple. It's like a Afro Samurai coming for the number one headband, right? Everybody and their mama's coming after you, and you gotta defend it. And if they would have just kept that trope, right, it would have been a far better movie.
Well, I think us knowing that this is gonna be, you know, potentially a series of movies, you know, maybe a trilogy, who knows?
Oh, I hope not.
I think once you know that, then you kind of like you don't, because obviously you're expecting it to close the book within the same movie. I mean, it'd be nice if they labeled this as, you know, like part 1 or something like that, or Fist of the Condor, but maybe the sequel will have a different title. Who knows? But I think once you know that, it does kind of help it a little bit more to, oh, okay, we're supposed to get more, so this is why they chose to do this almost kind of like a TV series.
Right. Very telenovela, exactly.
Movie, which I honestly think this probably would have been served better as a series than a series of movies. I don't know, because it's like 6 people in the whole movie. I mean, no, it's more than that, but yeah, it's not a big cast, but like you said, a lot of those scenes, you know, we're talking about the training montages. I did think that was pretty cool, like him, you know, jumping over, you know, high jumping off his knees. Learning how to do the Condor swoop down.
So stupid. So stupid.
So some of the moves were, like I said, but the guy in real life, Marco, I mean, he's nice though. I mean, like as far as what I've like training, like what he was doing in John Wick 4, and you know, a couple other movies he's been in. The guy definitely nice, man. I mean, we definitely need to start. I guess I don't want to say start cultivating the next talent of like martial arts stars. So I feel like we haven't had that in a long time. I mean, Donnie Yen is probably like the last one. Everybody else is either done, retired, or they just doing like dramas or stuff now. But Donnie Yen is probably like the last real martial arts like movie star.
Mm-hmm. So and we know now he's a little problematic to some people. So maybe it is time to start putting in some new blood, as they say, for our martial arts kick, pun unintended. But this is the problem when you have, how do I say this? This is the problem when you have stuntmen who try to play leading men. Because even though Marco is an established martial artist, he's been known predominantly for stunt coordination and being an extra. And I'm reminded of David, I forget the last name, but David Letech or Letech or one of those two, where he is a stunt choreographer and director, but he killed my man Terry Bogard. Like, he played Terry Bogard in the bootleg King of Fighters movie. and I'm like, this is what happens when stuntmen try to be leading men, and it doesn't end well. And this was a case of, for me, when you try to be artsy and you try to go outside your norm and you try something different and you failed. Because you mentioned also it had a very telenovela vibe. I mentioned it in my review. This felt very Kung Fu David Carradine, or Kung Fu The Legend Continues. And it needed to be a series. I'd watch it if it's a series, but as a 1 hour and 90-minute movie, nah, not my taste.
I don't know if it was an hour and 90 minutes, but
hour 20. Sorry, 90 minutes, yeah. Hour 20. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, like I said, I was looking at the movie as I'm watching. I'm like, yo, it's like 10 minutes left. They're gonna be able to wrap this up. He gonna fight the final boss. I'm like, all right, like
they don't even meet.
They really don't even reveal like the a lot of the plot of it until the end, where you find out like the dude came back and pretended to be his brother, and somehow his family didn't notice.
Dude, that subplot. I forgot about that for a split second. Yeah, his family all of a sudden was like, didn't know he had a twin brother. Hey, dad's home. Yo, that was so face-off-ish in my opinion.
I was thinking about that, yeah. I was just like, if anything, like your wife who I'm assuming been with for
you have a child with her, so
right, with no like your mannerisms, or you've been gone out and where for how long, and he just comes back and apparently he killed his brother's wife and son, or wife and kid. Mm-hmm. So and then he's not even matter about it. But just jumping back to the fights, like what we were talking about, like the first fight on the beach. Where they kind of go off and say, hey, him and his brother have like this same weakness where they're like
photophobia.
They can't take direct sunlight to the eyes or whatever. He'll be blind and God knows how long. That was pretty cool. As everybody try to find different ways to like utilize that weakness, like a freak piece of kryptonite.
Yeah,
Metallo with the
kryptonite chest.
But yeah, that first fight was pretty cool, man. Just getting an idea of kind of what we were getting into. I don't think we needed the chapter structure for this, to be honest. No. It didn't seem like it really mattered for it to be laid out, because the story was still confusing. There was no real layout. The fight in the bar was pretty good.
The acting was horrible, by the
way. Yeah, oh for sure. Yeah, and it was subtitled.
Mm-hmm.
So I mean, I feel like if you don't, like you said, we're now in this age of like stuntmen now, but taking over as the lead role. I'm trying to think of the guy that was in. He's like real big star now. He has that Accident Man.
It's not ringing a bell.
Oh my god, he was just in that Jamie Foxx movie as a vampire hunter.
Okay.
Oh god, I can't think of his name. But yeah,
I'll find it.
Yeah, he again, like, it's a lot of stuntmen taking over in lead roles.
Scott Adkins.
Scott Adkins, yeah. Scott Adkins. That's another guy who I'm not going to say he can act, but he could definitely film some action, man, and knows exactly what to do with it.
Careful, that's 2 Chainz' favorite guy, man. Be careful. Najir might got problems with that.
He gonna edit this whole part out, but but yeah, just like I said, not to say that that's a bad thing, but I think that there definitely needs to be, obviously, I'm not even gonna say every kung fu movie that we've seen in the past has had like the best story, the 5 Venoms, I can't really. I don't want to say that was bad, but it was like, okay, this is martial arts movie has the same story as like a video game. Okay, we need to take out the sub level bad guys. We need to take out the bad guy, and then okay, at the end we save the day. Sometimes you'll have like you said, a revenge plot like this, where everybody's trying to get their hands on this book, and they reveal in this movie that there's two copies of the manuscript that is out there. Maybe you can ask this question. The guy, the older guy, the old Asian guy, that was one of his masters or something like that.
Yes.
That wants to get killed in the movie.
Mm-hmm. That was.
And he just dies like easily, like this.
Okay, that's a trope that bothers me. Also, is like if you are a master of a dojo, right? Shouldn't you put up a better fight against the assassin, that comes to kill you? But he got waxed in like 30 seconds, and then in a really megalomaniacal villain trope, he doesn't let the Grandmaster get his last request out. It's like, come on, man. Like, ugh. But if you go back to the beginning of the movie, that mid-level master, I guess if you want to call it, he even tells our main character, "You're not ready for the Condor," and this was earlier in like a flashback. So he's telling him, "You're not ready for the Condor." And then his brother tells the assassin that, hey, if you want to get back at him, take something that's personal, and that'll distract him from the fight. When in reality, when we get to that last fight against his brother's best pupil versus our hero, and they have a fight that lasted, I don't know, maybe like 7 minutes. They pulled out all the tropes. The photophobia, I killed your master, prepared to die. My master killed your family. Like, they pulled out every card in the book, and it was unnecessary. I honestly feel like that fight, even though it was a great fight, and I actually liked that villain just in his mannerisms, the way he moved. It was very lecherous, diabolical, even though he portrayed a level of peace while he was moving around warming up. And maybe I'm just taking too much into it, but I feel like that fight just was not necessary. Nah. And then he overcomes everything because he does his little Condor flight move. God darn it.
Everybody has to have that glow moment, right?
The Trinity freeze frame moment, the crane kick moment. But yeah.
I wish they hadn't killed him off in the movie, and not only just killed him, but completely just blew his head up in the process.
Right, like he has no head. His head exploded. So,
like I said, Fist of the North Star, right? But like you said, then as we get into this, we find out that psych, this is a sequel. There's a sequel coming. We're gonna have, hopefully we get to it, because we're not fighting the brother in the same movie. So then I'm like, okay, if they got this, does that assume that his brother also has another henchman that he trained somehow along the way? Because you can't just have him go straight for the big boss in the next movie. Right. It has to be like another thing. But I'm assuming this Condor fight style was like the superior style, and that's why his master got his ass whipped in the dojo. But other than that, man, like I said, the fight was cool. The story was just extremely weak for the movie. They did what they could, but hopefully we see what happens with the sequel. And we get a little bit more, get some more people on screen.
And to tie a bow on this, a lot of people are very 50-50 on the fight scenes themselves. As I mentioned in my review, it was a little too stylized for my liking. I like a little bit of groundedness in my fight scenes, but I understand that it kept people's attention. Right. You ever seen Only the Strong? No. It reminded me about some capoeira moves where they're like trying to get into rhythm and the body contortioning to do one move. I'm thinking, really?
There was that scene, where they were like flexing and stretching for like 10 minutes.
Like, that's unnecessary, man. Like, just get to the fight. But
they wanted to be in proper form, like Goku and Vegeta about to fight. You know what I mean? So.
And look where it happened, on a mountain range. That's where the fight was, like Goku and Vegeta.
It was.
So I guess the next question is, what trope do they steal for part 2? You know what I mean? Like, what do we have? Double Dragon at this point? Is they're going to team up against another bad guy that's even bigger than his brother? So who's to say? But
that's not bad. Yeah, there would be like some villain they have to overcome or something like that together, and then they wind up like facing each other at the end. But I don't know. I can't really see where this is gonna go. I wish I was like this. It's not like this has like a comic or like an original thing that this is based off of. So it's kind of hard to say where it's going. But hey, I'm looking forward to see what they do. Maybe they can step it up and just give us a little bit more story in the next one.
Me too. And I think that was the low point. The acting was the low point of this movie, aside from the story. I gave it a C minus. What say you?
Yeah, I'm about the same. I mean, like I said, I definitely enjoyed it. For just like I said for the fighting, but it's not like it's not like you watch martial arts movies for the for the story, but it definitely helps the fights feel a little bit more like they have a little bit more weight to them when you know the reason why these two people are fighting, or why they So let's see what they do the second time around.
Well, y'all let us know in the comments there down below on the YouTubes. Follow us at biggoldbelt.com. Let us know what you think of this movie. We didn't really like it that much, but hey, what say you? Let us know. Rank, comment, subscribe, all that good stuff. biggoldbelt.com. We'll see you next time. Hopefully not with Fist of the Condor Part 2. Hopefully with something a little better.
Come on, Hi-Yah, man. Come on, Hi-Yah.
Come on, Hi-Yah. I got you for $1.50. Do better. We'll see you next time, kids.